So today I'm going to show you guys how to make this classic Bulgarian dish that I haven't had in like 10 years since I became vegan, because I don't know, I just didn't even think about just simply replacing ingredients. But ever since Just Egg came out, it's kind of opened the door for me to be able to make a lot of things that I used to love and couldn't have. So this is a Bulgarian dish, because I'm Bulgarian, and it's called Banitza, and it's basically phyllo dough, feta cheese, and egg. You can add other things like spinach, and a lot of times people will add like plain yogurt, but I'm just gonna do the most basic, simple way that I remember. I think I'm just gonna make my own like tofu feta. So I'll show you guys how I did that as well, and that's it. All right, let's get into it. So I'm gonna show you guys how I make my tofu feta cheese. And first things first, I'm gonna start off with an extra firm block of tofu, and I'm gonna press it in a tofu press. If you guys don't have a tofu press, I highly recommend getting one. They're super cheap online and a lot less wasteful than using a bunch of paper towels. Let me show you everything we're gonna need for this. All right, so 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of Kalamata olive brine, and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and 1 tablespoon of olive oil. And now we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of miso. Then I'm gonna do a teaspoon of nutritional yeast. A little pinch of salt. And then this is what it's gonna look like, and you wanna just mix it all up before you add the tofu. So once you have everything nice and mixed up and there's no more chunks of miso, just go ahead and add your tofu. And just crumble it up in there. All right, so now we're gonna stir this up, make sure that it's nice and coated, and then we're gonna let it sit and make sure that it soaks up all the flavor for about 30 minutes. All right, so this is what it should end up looking like, and now I'm gonna give it a taste and see if I wanna add anything. I think it needs a little more salt and a little more lemon. So I'm just gonna finish what juice I have left in this half. Do another little pinch of salt. Try that. That's better. Okay, so now we're gonna let this sit for 30 minutes while we go get everything else ready. Phyllo dough, some Just Egg, and a little bit of butter, and I'm using Miyokos. Okay, so all you need is a Pyrex, and this one actually is bigger than I even need. It's a 4.5 liter, but you can make it in a smaller if it's all you have. Okay, so I'm gonna unroll our phyllo dough. Just have it ready. I'm gonna transfer the tofu feta into the bigger bowl. So 1 full thing of Just Egg, mix it up with your tofu feta, and this is what your mixture is gonna look like. Miyokos melted butter. I'm just gonna grease the pan. Just make sure you get the edges too. All right, and we're gonna start with our first layer of phyllo dough. Just make sure you cover the whole bottom half of the pan. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't matter if the pieces are ripped. All right, and we're gonna start putting our mixture on there. kind of drizzle it in random places. It doesn't need to be perfect. Go. And now add your second layer. And this time I think I'm gonna do a couple of layers of phyllo dough. You can kind of fluff them up a little bit so they're not perfectly flat. We're just gonna keep on repeating this until we run out of phyllo dough. My dough is kind of broken up into pieces a little bit. So I'm just going to cover this real nice. Just make sure we have all the mixture covered up. I'm just gonna take this last little bit of butter that I have and I'm gonna brush it over the top layer. All right, and now it is ready to go in the oven. Okay, so this is what it looks like. We set our oven to 350 degrees and now we're gonna put it in here for 25 minutes. Oh yeah. I also had a little bit of the mixture left, which is great because tomorrow I can just scramble it up and have it for breakfast on toast or something. So this is what it looks like. And you wanna keep an eye on it, and as soon as the top layer is nice and golden brown, that's when you know it's ready. I actually said 25 minutes in the beginning, but I ended up keeping it in there for about 45. So we're gonna let this cool for like 10-15 minutes and then we're gonna cut it up. All right, so I'm gonna cut into it. I'm just gonna cut it in half and half again until I get nice little squares. Nice and crunchy. All right, let's try a piece. I like to put a little bit of this on top. It's a Bulgarian spice called Cider. Comes in a little packet like this, but I transferred it over into one of these because it's easier to use. Yeah, you want some banitsa too. All right, so let's try our finished product. Now this is something that I ate all the time when I was a child, and I remember helping my mom make it all the time, and I would actually eat the raw dough. I didn't do that this time. Wow. Tastes like my childhood. I don't know why I never thought before. Like, I know that Just Egg exists. There's so many ways to use tofu to make it taste like... Ooh, you know what I just realized? If I use fermented tofu next time, that'll take it to the next level. But this is still so good. When I was 6 years old, I moved back to Bulgaria with my parents, lived with my grandparents for a little while. And if I hadn't done that, honestly, I probably wouldn't even be able to speak the language right now. But we came back when I was 8 years old and I went straight into 3rd grade. And I remember my mom would pack this for me all the time for lunch. And there was this girl in school, blonde hair, all American, blue eyes. Sounds like everybody's nightmare, right? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Or not. She would always bully me. I would sit down with my food and she would be like, ew, what is that? And I remember I would go home to my mom and I'd be like, you cannot give me that for lunch anymore. It is not okay. I get made fun of. And my mom's like, okay, well, what am I supposed to feed you? And I was like, okay, well, she has white bread, peanut butter and jelly with the crust cut off. So that's what I need to have. Of course, my mom at the time was like, what? It's like chemicals, it's poison. You can't have this. And I'm like, I don't care. I can't, I can't have this. I need to be with the cool kids. I'm glad that I found a way to bring it back into my life and make it vegan. So I hope you guys try it. It's such a simple recipe. Honestly, I'm not a cook. If I can make this, anybody can, and it's so delicious. So yeah, there's my childhood trauma story for you guys as well. Hope you enjoyed.